Hey guys, what's up? It's Alex or Nuzz here, and today's video is going to be about death costs in Runescape 3, and we'll be talking about if Jagex is ever actually going to fix these costs, and look at what they're currently doing as of now to fix them. We just got a new post about them yesterday, and during the Golden Party Hat livestream announcement, we were also told that some death cost fix were coming soon. This is something that a lot of people, including myself, have wanted just because the system is so broken and flawed as currently instituted. Some examples of this are tier 92 armors varying drastically in prices. For instance, elite tectonic bottoms are 850k to save, while something like the tier 92 masterwork melee bottoms cost 250k to save, and then elite serenic ranging bottoms cost 1.7 mil to save. These are all the same tier of item, just for different styles, and they all have drastically different costs to save. There's no continuity when it comes to death costs, and it just seems like a flawed system in general with random values thrown around. Not only are death costs increasingly higher, for a lot of people that are doing high level PvM like Solok, or places that you have to bring super expensive gear, especially places where you have to use multiple styles, and with all the ring switches and switchscape that Jagex constantly adds into the game, this has only really gotten worse as a problem. But the other big factor that I see is beginners doing PvM. Of course, there is the Ring of Death, but when new bosses come out or people want to try, for instance, to maybe kill something like Raksha, a new boss that they've never killed before, or maybe they want to start Telos for the first time, dying a lot and losing 500k to 1 mil every single death can just get exhausting and demotivating for new players. So what has Jagex actually done to correct this death cost system and to make it better? Well, we finally got some update today after Jagex released a new developer blog on death costs, which I'm going to go over with you now. So Jagex released a developer blog on death costs, which is going to launch a new event called Frank's Free Deaths. Now this event is going to offer 4 different weeks of free deaths for assorted bosses each week. Now Jagex has done things like this in the past. During the Elder God Wars boss releases, they had a free death week every week that the boss was released, which was a huge success. I know many people learned how to do new bosses during that period and had an all-around great time PvMing, not having to worry about death costs at all. Now this new event is similar, as it'll have a week of free deaths every week of the month, but for different bosses on each week. So from December 6th to 12th, Next Angel of Death, Barrows, and Rise of the Six will all have free death costs. Then after that, from December 13th to 19th, God Wars 1, God Wars 2, Nex, and Telos will also have free death costs. And then after this, week 3, Dagnauth Kings, Calfight King, Calfight Queen, KBD, QBD, Rex Matriarchs, and then Solok will also have free death costs. And then finally, the last week, all Elite Dungeons and Raksha, and also the Magister will have free death costs. So something else interesting is some bosses just are left out of this, stuff like Virago, Araxor. It's kind of weird. I'm not sure why they chose these bosses. They do say they need new data on different bosses for, I guess, maybe how often people die, what their death costs are, stuff like that. So maybe this is a way for them to find out about data for certain bosses, and maybe they already had enough for the other ones. But I did find that interesting, and something else I found very interesting was Jagex also stated in this, didn't you run free death cost week for all bosses during Elder God Wars? And then they said, yes, you'd be right. We've been offering these free deaths effectively as an admission that our death cost system does not really work that well. So just by this, Jagex knows that the death cost system is entirely flawed, yet they still keep doing kind of band-aid fixes like this, and they've talked so much about death costs the past year or longer, but really haven't done too much. Now Jagex does note in this post that they want to tackle these problems, but they do need the right data, so they plan on, like I thought before, basically using this month of free death costs to get more targeted data to help with figuring out a plan. Now, I understand that they need this data because, believe it or not, death costs are probably a much more intricate part of the economy than people think. I mean, the GP sync from me and my duo partner dying at Karapek alone is probably propping up the entire RuneScape economy. But jokes aside, I still wish Jagex would come out and give us a more detailed plan or roadmap, as this post is kind of vague and basically it says this is the first step on a long journey towards understanding the complexities around reworking death costs in RuneScape. So what does this mean? Well, we're getting a band-aid type fix while Jagex gathers data, and to be honest, I'm not really sure when, if ever, death costs will be completely reworked. It sounds to me like this is something that Jagex wants to spend a lot of time on, considering and figuring out the perfect fix. And when Jagex says that it's going to be a long journey, in Jagex years, that could be like 5 or 10 more years. But in all seriousness, I really do hope that Jagex gets a plan together and is more transparent with the community and what they plan to do to rework the system. I personally, as a player, am fine if I have to pay a decent chunk of money if I die, but at the same time, some of the prices just don't make a lot of sense, and as Jagex pretty much said, the system is pretty flawed. Now, my biggest concern is for beginners that are getting into PVM and the discouragement that this system could and is placing on them. We could see the success of something like Free Death Week, like I said before, where so many people, were just trying out bosses that they had never tried before. And I know there's something like practice mode, but practice mode needs updated as well. Being able to go into different phases with practice mode could be a really big thing as well. So maybe they'll do some updates to practice mode 2 to make it a bit easier to use. Or maybe they'll add a Ring of Death stand or something like that to have your Ring of Death effect be passive, like so many people have wanted, with maybe a big GP sync so they can counteract how many people are going to start losing money dying compared to not if they have that stand. So maybe they'll do something like that. But for now, all we really have is this kind of vague, kind of interesting post saying that it's gonna take a long time, we need to get the data. So I'm not really sure. I hope we do get some more clarity soon though, and maybe like a roadmap or something, or a timetable, although that doesn't usually happen that much with Jagex. I think that could be nice, but only time will tell. So what do you guys think about death costs? Is this a good first step for Jagex, or do you feel we need more concrete progress and updates? Let me know in the comments below. I find death costs super interesting, and I haven't really made a video on them before, but with this new development, I thought it would be interesting. And yeah, just let me know what you guys think in the comments, and if you like the video, make sure to leave a like, and I'll see you all in the next one.